So everybody has an opinion on Beyonce's internet. And one of the people with a very strong opinion that I consider is Kojo Forex. Most of us know Kojo Forex. He's a Forex trader, an influencer, and most of the time, anytime he's on the internet, Charlie, he dey shake up the internet. And usually his tweets are targeted towards the average Ghanaian, sometimes the Ghanaian youth. Some people see his tweets as motivation. Also, some people they see in tweets as pressure and stuff like that. So anytime he tweets, he targets a certain sect. Sometimes it's the youth, sometimes the leaders, sometimes it's the average Ghanaian worker, sometimes it's the person who feels like he can make a living in Ghana. And his tweets always ignite a reaction. And it's more like, nah, Charlie, you feel like the tweet has touched you and you want to say something about it. And his latest tweets is directed towards the health sector. And this tweet is more about doctors. So before we start talking about the tweet, I want us to do a small health exercise. The health exercise is going to be that we're going to breathe in and then we hold our breath for 10 seconds. Then I'll tell you why we are breathing in and why we're holding our breath. All right, so let's start. Wait on my signal, we start. So let's breathe in. So the reason why we breath, past tense of breathe. The reason why we breathe in was because we actually doing like a small lung test, a 10-second lung test. And if you are struggling to hold your breath, or while holding your breath, you coughed, it might probably indicate that you have a small problem with your lungs. So either you may have COPD, you may have an asthma, you may be feeling the complications of COVID-19, but probably something is there with your lungs and you don't want to take chances with it. So seek medical health care immediately. You can go to your nearest district health center, or if there's a clinic or hospital around you, just go see a doctor. Explain to him that you were watching one YouTuber and he asked you to hold your breath for some time and then you coughed or you were struggling to hold your breath. Probably there may be something there. Probably there's nothing, but you don't want to take chances with your health. So now let's get into Kojo Forex's tweet. Let me go and find the tweet and I'll read the tweet to you guys. For the past 20 tweets, the tweets all be London, 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 London. But I'm more interested in the tweet where I feel like he's targeting medical doctors. And this is the tweet. Makes sense why someone will prefer being a toilet cleaner in Europe than a doctor in Ghana. And before some of you would like to attack Kojo or anything, before we read the tweets, before we read the replies, I want to say that I partly agree with Kojo Forex in the sense that I am going to be a doctor. Should I say I'm a future doctor? I'm a doctor in the making, whatever it is. And I have a lot of friends who are currently doctors and some of them who are also about to be doctors and stuff like that. And this is one of the major conversations that always comes up. You will like work for Ghana, you will like work for here, name facility, that and that, but all within Ghana. And to be very honest with you, 80%, okay, of my friends and the people that this conversation comes up with are all like, Charlie, we no go like work for Ghana. We go like left the country inside. The goal is to leave Ghana. The goal is to make money and leave Ghana. The goal is to go and get license in Ghana and leave the country. So yes, there is a group or majority, even the doctors in Ghana. Last year alone, the number of doctors that left the country was very alarming for the Ghana Health Service. So it means that this tweet is not coming out of his ears. Okay. It's not something that he just picked from the ground and then he said. People are actually preferring to be cleaners in Europe, or people are actually carrying their medical degrees to Europe rather than being doctors in Ghana. And that is one part of the tweet. The other part of the tweet, I feel like if you prefer to be a cleaner in Europe rather than being a doctor in Ghana, probably you don't have a medical degree. So if they ask you to choose between being a doctor in Ghana or choosing to be a cleaner in Europe, you go obviously choose cleaner, because if you look at the the wages and then the pay structure, maybe you choose being a cleaner. But I personally don't think that any doctor inside of Ghana would go to Europe and forfeit his medical degree just to be a toilet cleaner. Anyway, let's go into the replies and let's see what people think about Kojo Forex's tweet. Now, this comment is coming from the bulldozer. I see comments like this and I laugh. People just see it as black and white when it's rather gray. Crypto Boy also says, of course, can I be a toilet cleaner and send my people money down here to build a nice house for me and do big, big things as well? Charlie, some of you, if you type, please type, let's understand the whatever it is you are typing. Now, the next one from Expert Broker UK says that it's such a shame, but actually, this comment is so unfortunately true. The leaders have a lot to answer for. Make it attractive for your citizens to stay at home and contribute towards development rather than allowing the draining of a valuable human resources. Africa is rich in so much, should actually be the most developed continent on the planet. Charlie, this person decides to write thesis, give me. Another person says because of £10 is to 210 Ghana cedis. And the person is not lying. Anyway, Ebube Nwobu says, when Ghana turn Nigeria, no start a beg. Or is it when Ghana turn Nigeria, no start a beg? I feel like the first part is a question. Eric Opoku says, what sense does that make? Learn from the books you claim to read about how to make a conditional statement and situate issues in the proper context. People have different levels of success and definitions vary. So Eric Poku actually go attack. Big K says cleaners in certain European countries can earn a higher annual income than medical doctors in Ghana. This significant disparity in earnings may influence individuals to consider lower skilled jobs abroad over professional roles in their home country. All right. Then I know you are not doing giveaway. No, this person is begging. The Momotans did the DM inside. I said the DM, the quoted replies. But let's leave the Momotans alone and let's read the replies. Talking of value, then talking of value, then being a doctor here in Ghana is the best option. But you can't limit yourself to your 9 to 5 work alone. That is why I always insist on learning a digital skill or starting a digital skill which will fetch you huge amounts of money. All right. Which digital skill we beg? Inform me so that we can also make the huge amounts. Kojo, let me tell you, someone can employ you as a toilet cleaner from 6 to 6 and still pay you 600 CDs in Ghana. Out there, you can take up 3 of those in a day and make your money. All right. Let me just read 3 more and then we'll come back and discuss the issue. Somebody asks, how much are they paid? The next person says, Kojo, what do you think? No, this is not a place for financial advice. All right. Then someone made points to what I was saying. Is he qualified to be a doctor anywhere? Good. And then the last person says, come pick me up. Who's Ferguson? Come pick me up. I'll do that job honestly. With some emoji for the backside. Now let's discuss the actual issue. This issue is not black and white. Not in the sense that once you go to the UK or once you go to Europe or wherever it is you go, you start making more money than the doctor living in Ghana. Obviously, it depends on certain expenses. Firstly, it depends on how much you are paid, which obviously you are getting paid in the UK as a cleaner way more than, not way more than, but let's just say you are being paid as a cleaner in the UK more than you are being paid as a doctor. But now let's start discussing objective fact. And the objective fact here is that how much is the minimum wage in both countries? Just today, I saw that the minimum wage in Ghana has been increased from 18 cities to about 19 cities or so. And if you look at that, that is £1. And if a minimum wage, you're being paid £1 per hour. Okay, I don't know whether it's per day, but let's just say it's per hour. You're being paid £1 in Ghana per hour. It's quite crazy. It's I don't is it slavery? I feel like Africans, we are the ones enslaving ourselves. Our governments are really enslaving us because if I'm supposed to work for £1 an hour, it's mad. Then let's go to the UK. In the UK, they have a minimum wage of £11 an hour. So now let's say you are a cleaner on minimum wage and you decide to work 8 hours a day. So 8 hours a day times 11 is that's 88. Okay, my math's not bad like that. It's £88. That's in a day. And let's multiply that by 30. And in 30 days, you are making somewhere £2,640. You're making £2,640 as opposed to, I don't know a doctor's salary in Ghana, but let's just say a doctor's salary is 10,000 cedis at the end of the month. 10,000 cedis, if we're going to convert it to pounds right now, it's about £490. Or, yeah, 490, £500. Let's just say £1 is 20 cedis as at now. I didn't check the exchange rate. So let's say you are being paid 490 and £490 as to a cleaner who earns £2,640 in a month. Charlie, the gap is here. You get. So I really understand why somebody would want to do that. But the very first thing that I'd like to highlight about the medical profession is that most of the time, doctors take up the job because of passion, because they want to help. But then again, the fact that I am doing something because it's my passion doesn't mean that I should starve while doing my passion. You get. A doctor also needs to be in the best of emotional moods. You also forget at least some nice car, forget some nice food, eat. Even if he doesn't have a car, actually a nice way of transporting himself to the hospital, going. Because if the doctor is happy, his patients in turn, it will transfer there. The patients will also have good medical health care. I can't be frowning all the time coming to work complaining about my salary, and then you expect me to work like the way I would work if I was in a better paying environment. But my point is that most doctors do the job because of passion. And when we are bringing that passion into the field, sometimes the last thing we want to think about is money because we want to help our health sector. So if we are looking at it from a point of how much is the doctor being paid, £490 versus the cleaner being paid 2,640, then in that case, I feel like you put your passion aside and maybe you go and be a cleaner. But now let's look at another objective fact, which is rent in the UK. Because if you're in Ghana too, you pay rent. If you're a doctor, you pay rent. Um, the thing with doctors in Ghana is that accommodation is provided for by the government. So technically, your salary is your salary after tax deduction, and you are being provided for accommodation. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me in the comment section. Now, when you go to the UK, it is estimated that there's a law that says that 30%, you shouldn't pay more than 30% of your gross monthly income for rent. But let's look at the amounts people are paying for rent in the UK. So in the UK, the national average for rent is about £1,400, and that's pound sterling. And if you're looking at £1,400 sterling I said converted on the wage, which is 2,640. Let's just make that into a percentage and let's see how much of your salary you're actually spending on rent. Mind you, those other expenses also have income. Your health insurance, the tax way you go pay, and Charlie, the small things that you like to do for yourself. Maybe get some gadgets, travel, stuff like that. Because now all those prices are going to be quoted in pounds. Then we look at that is the national average. That is 1,500, 1,400 pounds. If you are staying in a place like London, the London average for rent is 2,100 pounds. And look, we are talking about houses for rent in the UK and in London. Charlie, be some small space, make nobody lie. Some small space that they are getting for these minimum values. You go fit turn your head like this in your bathroom there. You go turn your head, then your bed. Like literally you this, then the room this. You go feel wake up, then just open your door, then get out. If somebody do mistake and hit your door, so you go feel fall for your top. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is how much of your salary are you actually using on rent? And let's just calculate that real fast. Let me go to my calculator. So let's just say you're not staying in London and you are paying £1,400. That's minimum. That if you're able to find an apartment for this price. So simple ratio and proportion: 1,400 divided by 2,640 times 100. That's 53% of your salary. Imagine you go give 53% of your salary home as rent. Unless you are working three jobs on minimum wage, and you are spending maybe 53% of the salary from one job, that makes sense. But in a day, you only have 24 hours. So let's just say you're working two jobs, or you decide to work for 12 hours. So 11 times 12, that's 132. 132 times 30 days, that's 3,960. Let's say almost 4,000 pounds. And the same thing. So 1,400 divided by 3,960. Okay, so now you're using 35% of your salary on your rent before the expenses. So by the time you realize you've actually used about half of that money before you even come to think of, okay, maybe I don't want to send money, go house, go do this. Of course, it would be nicer if you were a doctor and probably you were being paid a doctor's wage in the UK. And then now maybe you're comparing yourself to a doctor in Ghana. But if you want to go and work on minimum wage, and the thing is, it's also not the same for everyone, because I personally will not encourage anyone to migrate illegally. Because if you are going to a place like the UK, you need to get your documents right. You need to have a financial statement to show that, okay, you are not going to be you're not going to be a burden to the UK once you arrive. So it means say the UK also wants people who are slightly financially stable and who are about to help the UK economy and not come and drain it. So Kwabota, you look at yourself and then you think about it and then see, okay, am I going to help the economy or am I going to drain it? And if I stay in Ghana, am I going to help the economy or is the economy going to drain me? Those are the factors that we're supposed to be looking at. So, in my opinion, I don't think that me Melvin, who is sitting here, that I'll go and be a cleaner in the UK or in Europe over being a doctor in Ghana. I feel like I'm one of the few people who actually want to work in Ghana. And obviously there's a lot of people who feel like let's leave the country, let's leave the country. But I have a big question for all of you. If you leave the country, who is going to develop the country for us? If everybody wants to leave Ghana, everybody wants to leave Ghana, everybody wants to go and make pounds, everybody wants to look out for their selfish interest. Of course, it's a good thing that everybody needs to have some money in their pocket. But my question is, if all of us want to leave the country, who is going to develop the country for us? Who are going to be our policymakers? We are going to leave the same people who are making bad policies for us, and they will keep making bad policies for us. And then we will come back, we will meet higher inflation rates, we will meet everything that is going to mitigate against the pounds or the dollars or whatever it is that we've made outside. Because imagine you've gone to make all the money that you want outside. You come back and then there's still hyperinflation of more than, let's say, right now, let's say it's walking around 50%. You come back and we're at 150% hyperinflation. Your money is still basically useless. You get, So if you think that you can stay in Ghana and make something for yourself, You feel like you can contribute to any of the sectors, the health sector, the agricultural sector, the educational sector. If you can contribute in any way, I feel like you should stay in Ghana. That is my opinion. But if you like, okay, if I day Ghana, there's nothing there for me. Um, I can't contribute. The system is just going to keep draining me. If you have some money, then leave. It is your choice. But I am still posing that same statement, whether it's a question or whatever it is. I'm posing it to you that if all of you leave, who is going to sit down and develop the country for us? So Kojo Forex has said what Kojo Forex wants to say, and everybody will have their opinion. Once again, we'll make our decision and we'll be the ones to live with our decision. Now, I want to know your opinion. If you're an international student or you're a doctor, you're a medical student in Ghana, and whatever it is that you are doing in the healthcare sector in Ghana, I want to know your opinion. Like, would you leave the country and go and do, should I just say, a menial job? Would you go and do a menial job like being a toilet cleaner, going to work in another place? Is it all about money for you, or you feel like if we actually stay in our countries and then we demand better for our sector, we can do what we feel like we've been called to do, which is to help the healthcare system in Ghana? So I want to know your opinion. Let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, just click on the like icon, share the video, and also subscribe to the channel so that we can give you more analysis of this sort. I'll see you guys in the next video.